Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Booked. I just realised I'm sat here like a villain. It's not going to be that kind of show. Welcome, everybody. I'm pleased to introduce today's guest, Alice Benson. How are you doing today?
I'm very good. A little nervous, but very good.
Same. I'm surprised that nobody can hear my pulse. I've done this countless times. I mean, the live shows, like 4, 5, 6 maybe times. But even the recorded ones, I'd still go into it like, oh my gosh. And I fear that I'm going to make the guest nervous. But also, I can't help it.
No.
I talk about my feelings. I can't help that. But yeah, how's your day been so far?
Good. Sun's out almost. It's not raining. It's beautiful fall weather. Yeah, no, it's good.
Amazing. Good. Glad to hear it. So I'm going to dive straight into talking about Trapped in a Tablet, if that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, so this book was co-written with your granddaughter. So the first question I actually had before we get into the specifics of it, is this the first time that you've written with someone?
Yes. I've talked about it and thought about it. I have a friend that has such amazing ideas that, and then we talked about, collaborating, but we never followed through. And so, yeah, this is the first time that I've done anything with someone.
Cool. Well, it's nice that it was with somebody that you obviously quite care about. I mean, yeah. I'm making assumptions, but I suppose you probably wouldn't have written a book with her if you didn't care about it.
That's right, yeah. It's pretty important to me. Yeah.
Good. So what came first? Was it the idea for the book, or was it the idea to work together on something?
The idea for the book.
Okay.
So I have 2 granddaughters. Mm-hmm. And the older one right now they're 14 and 11. And this was a few years ago, and I was working on something that the main character lived on a farm. Mm-hmm. And so my older granddaughter, Genevieve, wanted to help. And so she was writing descriptions of the farm. And that was really cool. And I put them in the draft. But then she had all these ideas to go in a very different direction with murders and bootleggers and
brilliant.
And it just wasn't going to work with what I was writing. So I said, well, why don't we take some of your ideas and start something else? And then Greta, the younger one, wanted to be involved as well, but she had a whole other idea about where a book should go. And I started working on one with each of them, a book with each of them.
Oh, that's really nice.
It was very fun.
So tell me about the experience that you had with that. So was it very collaborative? Did she just kind of give you the ideas and you wrote it down? How did that work?
Yeah. And in hindsight, I would do it differently.
Okay.
She gave the ideas were all hers. Greta named the characters. She described the characters. She came up with the whole plot, or most of it, which I would never have thought of. So, but then I did the main part of the writing. I wrote it down, and then when it was finished, when it was published, she expressed disappointment that she hadn't done more of the actual writing, because she's a very good writer.
Yeah.
And we could have collaborated more that way. So we decided that next we're going to work on something else together and do it differently. So hopefully maybe in the first of the year, we're going to start another book and maybe write like a chapter. She takes a chapter, I take a chapter, something like that, so that she does more of the actual writing. But I really feel like it was a strong collaboration, because I never would have come up with the ideas. And she had all that creativity and imagination. So.
Oh, that's really nice. So had she shown any interest in writing and storytelling before this collaboration?
I think so. She, the school that she goes to, they put a lot of emphasis on writing in her classes in 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade. It's really impressive. And I don't remember what I don't remember what grade she was in when they wrote a book, and then they had a publishing party, and then they got all dressed up, and
I'm jealous.
and they recorded themselves reading parts of what they wrote, and it was very they really put a lot of energy into writing and getting the kids excited about writing. So yeah,
Aw.
she's been excited about writing for quite a while.
That's really cool. Oh, I'm glad that she was able to actually put it into practice. Are her friends jealous, or are they excited for her?
She hasn't mentioned it a lot. I know she took it to school and showed it to people. I think her teachers were really pleased with it. We're excited for her to see it. So
They should be. That's very impressive. Having
is.
your name on a published book at the age of 11. Come on.
Yeah, I was 58 before I had my first published book. So
Well, there you go. She's way ahead of the curve
way ahead.
already. So did you take much interest in writing and storytelling when you were her age, or is that something that has been more recent for you?
That's a good question. I have always loved to read my whole life and would spend hours and hours as a kid reading. And so it seems like because I loved books so much, I wanted to write something. I just thought, wouldn't it be amazing to write something and have somebody read it and get excited about it or think it's good or anything? But I didn't have the discipline, I guess, or the because I thought about writing a lot, but I never followed through very much until I was older, until my kids had grown up, moved out, and that freed up some of my time.
Yeah.
And so that's when I really started focusing on telling my own stories or writing. I worked in a domestic violence program shelter for many years, and I would see these amazing stories, painful stories, but also hopeful and resilience and people's triumphs, and I thought this would be an amazing book. And I kind of had this vision in my head for telling. I mean, obviously it's fiction.
Yes.
I didn't use people's real stories, but but it gave me. I just had this vision and this desire to write this book, and so after, so I would write pieces for years. Little stories, I wrote like one act of a play, and I wrote half a short story, and I'd write stuff. And then, as I said, my kids moved out, and then I found a writing class. That helped me a lot.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Because then I had deadlines and feedback. When I'm just writing for myself, there's no penalty if I don't get it finished. And
this is it.
Yeah.
That's such a big thing. I don't mind letting myself down. That's easy for me.
Exactly. I set my own goals and then I failed to meet them, but whatever. And
it's fine.
So I had deadlines that I had to meet, and I had people giving me real feedback, helpful feedback, kind feedback, but
like constructive though.
Constructive. So, I can make this better kind of feedback. So that made a huge difference. And then, so I found classes, I found a great writing coach, and then I finished that first book and found a publisher and everything. It was amazing.
Fantastic. And how long ago was that?
That was in 2014, I think. So what is that, 12 years?
Yes, 11, 12, something like that.
Math, not my thing, but
there are a couple of years there a few years ago that don't count. So it makes it hard for me to count those like periods of time in the past, because I'm like, we missed 2 years, so I don't know what that means.
Right. So yeah, so that was very exciting. That was like a dream come true to have that published. And so then I wrote a second one and they published that too. But as I mentioned right before, the publisher then did, I think, the books didn't become world-class bestsellers, and he did let the contract go. And so they're out of print now, but that doesn't take away from the fact that they were published at one point.
Yeah, exactly. And those were, I've got a terrible memory. I've written them down. The Year in Her Life and Her Life is Showing.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So do you have in your mind an idea of whether or not you're going to self-publish these as like a second edition?
I haven't done much with or haven't thought much about it. I've got a new, and I mentioned this too, in April 27th, I think, 2026. I've got a new book coming out with, it's called Running Wild Press. So it's another small press. And that book is about, it's an adult book, and it's about the relationships between mothers and daughters and grandmothers. And I'm excited about that coming out. And I guess where I'm going with this is that I have this little fantasy in my head, that will take off and be such a big seller that then somebody will want to step in and republish the first books. But
I have faith in you. I think if you attack it in the sense, with the idea that it's going to be massively successful, then you're going to subconsciously make the right decisions that push you forward to that thing. I don't agree in people believe all they want, I don't care. But when people say like manifestation and having mood boards and stuff, it's whatever you have to do to push yourself into the pathway into success, which sounds really weird and corporate-y, but that's kind of how I do it in my head. I don't think it's magically going to make things happen for you, but if you keep saying to yourself every day, this is going to do well, you are going to keep pushing as if it's going to. So you keep telling people it's going to be a bestseller.
Okay.
Tell them.
I like that. So even subconsciously, you're going to be taking the steps that you need to. That's interesting.
Thanks. I don't know if I picked it up from someone else, but I thought it was an original thought. I don't think it is, though. I'm sure someone said it, like Tony Robbins or I don't know.
Oh my gosh, Tony Robbins. One night I was, many years ago, I was up late watching TV, which you shouldn't do, and have a credit card, and there was a Tony Robbins commercial on, and I ordered like the whole set. This is back in the day when they were, tapes, and I ordered a whole, maybe they were DVDs. It doesn't matter. I ordered just this huge amount of Tony Robbins tapes, and I have to say, unfortunately, it did not change my life. But
it didn't.
No.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll make nice coasters.
I think I lost them years ago.
Oh, that's a shame. The only thing I know about Tony Robbins is he's got a very cool voice. And that's all I really know about him. And he can be motivational to some people, but probably not to people like us.
I haven't heard of him in years. I imagine he's out there doing stuff, but I've lost track of him.
I think so. He's still around. He's still kicking it, I think. I only really know of him from Family Guy.
Is he on Family Guy? Or do they?
I think they took the piss out of him on Family Guy. I can't think of an American version of that phrase, but
they mocked him a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's funny, so whatever. We've got people that are losing connection. I don't know if it's it can't be this stream. But hello to everyone that is here. I'm seeing some comments in the chat. Everyone's saying nice things and saying hello, so that's nice. Hello, everybody. If you have any questions at all during this show, then please do put it in the chat, but I'm going to carry on and I'll try and keep an eye on that at the same time. I need to have this ability like a chameleon where I can let one eye drift off and have them both in focus. Still working on that. I haven't evolved in that way yet.
Can they do that? Can chameleons do that? Like they can look two different directions?
So I've said it, and now I'm questioning whether or not that fact is true. Somebody fact check me. I'm not going to access Google at this time. Somebody look for chameleon eyes.
You can look that. We'll look that up later after the show.
Somebody needs to fact check me at all times because I say things and I think, I don't know if that's true actually, or if I saw it on a cartoon, or maybe I made it up or something. So I wouldn't take anything I have to say seriously.
Well, that's good to know.
Unless it's a book recommendation,
because
I've read tons of them. And anyway, I'm gonna go back to talking about you now. So before we started the live stream, I forgot the name of it. This is going really well. Before we started the live stream, you did mention that your new book that you're hoping will be out next year is it the first time you've written that genre? I don't know if you want to say what genre it is.
It's kind of literary fiction, and it's for it. I mean, that I hate to say women's fiction because that sounds so, but you know, the main characters are all women, but and it's adult. It's adult for sure. So you follow the main character from when she's 18 through her life as she has a baby. She gets married and has a baby when she's very young. She's not happy about being a mother, you know, and then but then as she grows and her kid, and she learns about the bonds, how important family is and how important her daughter becomes to her, and then her granddaughter. So I don't have any daughters, but I do have granddaughters. So that was kind of fun to explore that.
That's nice.
But it will be available in April next year.
Excellent. And so that is also with a small press.
That's Running Wild Press. It's a small press.
So have you, during the periods of time where you've written books, considered going down the self-publishing route, or have you always sort of gravitated towards the indie presses?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have mostly tried to find a small publisher. With my first book, I sent out, I don't remember. It probably wasn't 100. It seems like hundreds of emails trying to get of queries trying to get not a publisher, an agent.
Yeah.
And that didn't work. And so then it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of energy to do that, because everybody wants something different. This agent wants the first 10 pages. This agent wants, the first chapter. So you have to. I kept a spreadsheet of who I applied to, and who, and did they reject, and the rejections and everything. So then I went for the small publishers, and I did find one. I was shocked and amazed, and they sent me a contract, and it was so exciting. I didn't think a lot about self-publishing. Partly it seemed like so much effort.
Yes, that's a correct assumption.
And I was afraid it would cost so much money. And then, so no, I didn't think a lot about self-publishing. And then I found this publisher, but it took, with my third book, when I had to find a brand new publisher, that took a lot longer. That I had a lot of rejection. But then finally, it just has to hit with the right person.
Yeah. And I feel like each small publisher seems to have a completely unique identity in what they want to be publishing. And again, they also will have their different requirements and stuff, but it must be nice to be able to directly talk to the people at the end of the road rather than trying to get through the gatekeepers that might show your stuff to a publisher. Yeah, it's such a fascinating industry, and everybody's pathway in seems to be completely different. But yeah, I don't think publishing a book isn't for the weak anyway, and I think self-publishing a book is almost off-putting, but I'm curious enough about it to want to do it.
Yeah, no, I can certainly understand it. And I have several different writing groups that I belong to, and there's a woman in one of my local groups that does a lot, self-publishes a lot of her things, and then she has, but she has a lot of books out there.
Wow.
And they're and they're very good. So and it's worked for her. It just depends on what you want to do and what path you want to take. I have recently self-published. I've written and had published in small magazines, small short stories. So I have recently taken those and made them into small Kindle books.
Oh, cool.
And self-published those on Amazon.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And I did, because that costs nothing. If you use Kindle Public, KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing.
Yeah.
And I read one of those articles. I don't know if you ever see these, how to make $5,000 a month at home in your spare time, or those kinds of things.
Yes.
But one of the things they said was write a book and put it out on Amazon, and then it's you don't have to do anything else. So I thought, well, I've got these stories, and they're all they're already written. They belong to me. It wasn't hard, so it didn't cost anything. So they're out there for $1.99, and if a few people buy one, then great. And if
the links. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, and if nobody does, then I haven't lost anything. Go ahead.
Well, there you go. You've not invested like thousands of dollars into all the marketing and stuff. Are they available through your website as well? Do you have links on there?
I did actually this morning put the links to two of them on my website.
I'm going to put the QR code up. Ta-da! Technology. If you want to go check those out, check out Alice's website. I'm sorry if my dog is barking. She's decided that she can hear somebody that already lives in this house moving around.
I didn't hear her.
You will in a minute, I'm sure. But I will pop that into the chat as well, the link to your website. But I just saw a question. Just real quick. Chameleons do have independent eye movement. Chris. Also, they don't know how to read. So that's the trade-off. I want to be able to do both, possibly read 2 books at once.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah, I think it would be fun. However, because I currently have 20 books on the go at the moment, and
you must read a lot.
I do, but it's foolish, and I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. Okay, here we are. Can you talk about how the process is different for writing adult books and writing kids' books? So what did that look like to you?
That's a really good question.
It is.
I swore I have a lot less cursing in my children's book.
Less.
I have no cursing, no swear words in my children's book. I said that incorrectly. My first novel, I don't know what was going on in my head, but the characters swear constantly. And somebody I think it was an Amazon review, said, this book is just a curse fest. So it's not for everyone. But so there is that difference. That's a really good question. I had to go back and read more children's books, more middle grade books.
Yeah.
As I was writing this, because I needed to understand the rhythm of them and what they looked like these days. It's been quite a while since I've read many middle grade books, so I did do that and read quite a few. And then I talk to people, kids,
Mhm.
mostly my granddaughters, but other kids too, because it's a different world than when I was a child, certainly. And I just, and as we're working on this, Greta, of course, my granddaughter knows that world and knows.
Yes.
Minecraft plays a role in this, Entrapped in a Tablet, and I know nothing about Minecraft. That was not a game that I knew anything about. And so, I had to depend on Greta to explain explain stuff to her grandmother about Minecraft and what it is and how it works. And so, and in my adult books, most of it, I was writing more from experiences that
Yeah.
I'd had or knew, and the children's books I had to depend on others, I think, for sure.
That makes sense. I mean, especially since it's basically solely focused on these two young girls.
Yeah.
Is the dynamic between the grandmother and the granddaughter entrapped in a tablet based on your relationship with your grandkids?
Um, well, or one that I would like to have, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I hope so that they have a good relationship in the book, and I feel like we have a good open relationship with my granddaughters. So yes, I hope so. I don't live close, which is too bad. I mean, that's really nice that they can ride their bikes over to their grandmother's house and hang out at her house. And so I don't live, I mean, I'm not super far away, but I don't live close enough that they can just stop in, which is too bad. That would be a nice perk.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Something I noticed, because I read the book, something that I noticed was that there is quite a large focus on like manners and treating people with kindness throughout the book, between multiple characters. Is that something that you put in there, or that Greta put in there, or that you both thought was important, or did it just naturally happen because you're all very polite to each other?
I know I mean, it was a focus certainly for me, and then Greta and I talked about it too. And also I knew that you really have to have the characters go through some, learn something in a book. And that just seemed like treating people with respect just seems like a really important lesson to learn. And Greta is it's very important to her to treat people respectfully and to be treated with respect. So she's a very, very fair. She wants, person, and wants things to be fair and nice. So yeah, I think it was a good collaboration that way.
No, it seemed it. I just thought that as a feature was very sweet. Yeah, I really like that. I love it when books are, especially books for children, when a lot of the influence is just being kind to people and hearing them out. And yeah, I liked it. It was good. So we have another question. So thank you, Trinity. What is the inspiration behind Trapped in a Tablet? I'm assuming it's geared towards middle grade. Sorry if this was already brought up. I don't think the inspiration was brought up. Yeah.
No, that's a good question. It is middle grade. I'm 7 years old and up. So, but from like 7 to 12, probably.
Yeah.
It's a chapter book. It's not a long book. It's only about, I don't know, 75 pages. Anyway, but the inspiration came from Greta, my granddaughter, and when we were talking about ideas, she wanted to write a book about a girl who finds a ghost in her grandma's attic. So, well, that's fun. So we talked about, I said she named characters and we talked about things. And then I drafted. I had a first draft completed. And when we talked about it, Greta said that she really wanted to have my understanding was that she wanted the ghost to have come from ancient Egypt and lived in Egyptian artifacts.
That's amazing.
So I did a lot of research
Mhm.
and for the first draft put in like what would kids play with in ancient Egypt, what kind of games do they have, and
Oh
all.
wow.
And then we sat down together because I
Mhm.
had it printed, and we sat down together to go through it.
Mhm.
And she didn't like that at all and didn't remember talking about that.
That's
So
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 funny.
it was funny. It's like, okay. But then as we talked, it turned out really well because as we talked about it, she wanted this girl to be in an iPad.
Mm.
And then as we realized this little girl wasn't dead.
Mm.
She's not a ghost. She has just simply been sucked into an iPad. She's a
Mhm.
glitch of technology.
Mhm.
And that made the story, I think, much more interesting
Mm.
and create more creative, I think. So it all came, that was a long story to say, it all came through the imagination of Greta and some fumbling around by me.
I think it's very rare that I ask somebody this question or this question is asked to a writer. That was terrible grammar. We're going with it. Where the original idea is the same as the end product. It's almost always completely different.
Yes.
And I can so relate as a granddaughter to the whole, like, I don't remember us talking about that. Like, I'm going to have some toast. I don't like toast, that sort of thing. Very funny. Oh dear. So, did you, when the book was finished, is that the point that you went to query it with the
Yeah.
publisher, or did you do so before it was finished?
No, it was finished. I felt like it was finished.
Mhm.
Um, then I set about querying with
Mhm.
publishers. And I was so fortunate to find Watchful Wizard
Mhm.
Publishing. They have been so good to work with, but they they and they said the nicest things about the book.
Mhm.
It, it, I don't know. It's been a very positive experience
I'm
working
so
with them.
glad. I'm so glad. I've had the opportunity to speak with them several times before, and they're always very kind and very
Mhm.
supportive of their authors, and they seem to want to do right by everybody, and that's really cool.
Yes, yes. I have always felt like they listened
Hmm.
to me, and if uh, if anything didn't go exactly right, they were always uh, made sure that they fixed if there was anything wrong, they fixed it. If
Hmm.
but they were such good listeners, I feel like, and they work so hard and try. They really want things to go well.
Yes, yes, it's very apparent, and I've heard mostly nice things about independent publishers, and I think the beauty of it is that you kind of get to work directly with them, and it seems like it's very much a team project. Was there quite a long period of time between when your book was sort of accepted, your manuscript was accepted, to the point where it was actually released?
They did it so quickly.
Oh, really?
So the book I have coming out in April next year.
Mhm.
I got that contract in March of 2022.
You're
So
kidding me.
no, that's the slowest one I've ever had. This one is the fastest one I've ever had. I think we signed in November and the book came out in June. It was really fast.
That's mental. Okay,
And
so
one thing I need to say about them
mm,
um, is small authors are pretty much on their own when
mhm,
it comes to marketing and getting stuff out there, but they have been much more involved than
mhm,
I've heard of other small presses being. They're much more hands-on and they want to help and they want to get, they want to help market, and that's a really gift.
Yeah, that is fantastic, actually. Again, each press looks different. You can't tar everybody with the same brush, but I'm glad that you had that experience.
Yeah, no, and yes, every publisher is different, and I'm just, and it's not like I have a wide range of experience. I talk to other authors with small presses, and so I really feel like they do a lot for a small press.
Oh, I'm really pleased to hear that. So in terms of the cover, I'm going to pop the QR code back up though, because I think there's a little preview of the cover. It's a really, really lovely cover. Did you have much say in what it was going to look like? How was the process for the cover up for you?
It was very nice. They hired an artist, but they asked my opinion on. They would send me like several different covers or several different ways of presenting it, and ask my opinion. And I would give them my opinion, and we almost always agreed, or we came to a place where, so they hired the artist, and they were they did the work, and I just was able to give my opinion, which was really great. That's one reason I love working with a publisher rather than having to make my own cover.
Yeah.
Or I mean, obviously I wouldn't make my own cover, but find the people to do it and pay for it and all that. So.
And that can be very expensive if you want like quality cover art.
Yeah, and it should be. I mean, it should be, because you should pay an artist what they're worth. So I don't have a problem with that, but I didn't, it was just nice having them take care of all of that.
Yeah, I'm glad. Did Greta have an opportunity to have much say in what the cover looked like?
She didn't. I didn't, and that's my fault. I didn't send it to her and have her give feedback. So no.
But did she like it in the end?
She does, yes.
Okay. Well, that's fine. That's okay. We've got the book lounge. Hello, Mark. How you doing? Has entered the building. Also, I didn't want to miss this comment. Novice 024 learned fuckity fuck from one of your novels. I'm assuming it's not Trapped in a Tablet.
It is not. I think I know who wrote that.
You'll find out after this, I'm sure, but that is very funny.
That's that one of my characters does say that, but no, not in this book.
Nah. Okay, I was going to say, because I read it a couple of days ago, and I was like, I don't think that was it.
That's one of my adult novels.
Okay, that makes total sense. Does anybody else have any other questions? Please do put them in the chat. What is not clickable? Trinity, what's not clickable? Please tell me, and I'll try and fix it for you. It's going to turn into a tech support session, I think. Let me see. I don't think I've missed anything else. So yeah, I mean, it sounds like you had a super positive experience with Watchful Wizard, and I've already interviewed Alex Thomason, who wrote Simple Recipes.
Oh yeah,
with a relatable chef. I think that's what it's called. That's terrible. I'll be giving away a copy of that next week. But I also ran a short competition to give away 2 copies of Trapped in a Tablet, which were donated by Watchful Wizard. So the 2 people that won that have been notified. So that was Ellen Holmes and Josh from Already Overbooked. So I'll be sending those at the end of the week. So you'll have 2 more new readers.
Yay! Yeah, and don't. Please feel free to leave a review.
Definitely leave a review. Don't feel free to. Be more aggressive.
It's amazing to me how important reviews are, isn't it?
It is, but I did not realize it's basically currency.
Yeah.
And it's something that I feel deeply guilty about because I've read so many more books than I've given reviews to, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm helping indie authors and I'm giving them a platform and blah blah blah, but I find it really hard to sit down and actually write a review. I don't know why it's so hard.
I have tried to do better, and I've tried just to not worry about how long it is, but just to write a sentence or two, even just so it's out there. Really enjoyed this book, great characters, or even something like that gets at least it's a review.
Yeah, it's better than
on your show. When I was watching the last one I watched, I think the author said that you need 100 reviews on Amazon to get. Do you remember this?
Yes, that was Cassidy last week, and I did not check that out. I forgot.
Okay.
When shows end, my brain goes ee, and I forget everything I've said, everything they've said. But it's something I need to remember to look at.
I'm going to write that down, and because if that and it was to get into some algorithm or to get
I think to have your Goodreads rating show on your Amazon listing, you have to have 100 reviews. I think that's what she said, and I can't remember. I'm sorry, Cassidy. I don't think you're going to be watching this right now, but if you are, I'm sorry. I forgot. But I mean,
I'm going to check on that though, because 100 reviews is a lot of reviews. Unless you're Stephen King or somebody, that's a lot of reviews.
And Trinity makes a good point. It's especially hard to get reviews for children's books because kids aren't logging on to Amazon.
No,
and if they are, it's to buy stuff, probably not to leave reviews for their friendly neighborhood author.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, and it's my first children's book, so it's different. Really different. But can I say one more thing about this? Is about Watchful Wizard, and so I said that I worked on a book with my older granddaughter too, and I queried that, and then after they accepted Greta's book, I asked Watchful Wizard if they would read Genevieve's as well, and they did, and they gave me a contract for that too.
Congratulations! That's amazing.
I know. I'm so excited. So Alex and I are working on the edits right now, and it's going to be it's a young adult book. It has much more mature themes. But that should, we don't have a date yet, but I'm thinking early 2020, sometime in early 2026, that will come out, I hope.
That's so exciting. What a fantastic memory to have with your grandkids, to have not only written stories in collaboration together, but also to have them as a physical thing that you'll be able to hold in your hand that they get to look back on. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm really excited that they both will have a published book then. Yes.
That's so nice. So with your book with Genevieve, is that something that you have, has she had more of an opportunity to actually do more of the writing than Greta did, or is it something where it's sort of a similar setup to the first book?
I think she did a little more of the writing at the beginning. Certainly she was writing things and I would take them and stick them in. And then she's been doing a little more writing now because they want the book to be a little longer. The publisher does. So just because it's a young adult book, we want it to be a little bit longer. And so she, I'm not sure everything she wrote is going to make the cut. I know she put a raccoon in there somewhere, and I'm not sure that's going to make it, but
people love raccoons.
And it might make it. I haven't run it by the editor just yet, but so she, certainly she did some, although I mean, I did the majority of the writing, but again, just like with Greta, the ideas were all hers. So a teenage girl gets pulled back in time from to 1924 because she has to help save her grandmother, who is a bootlegger.
I wonder where the bootleggers were going to come in.
Well, we have not lost the bootleggers.
Excellent. I'm glad she stuck to her guns.
So that's an idea I would never have had.
That's fantastic. Well,
Yeah.
I am very excited to see that blossoming. That's just a very, very, very cool flex to be like, yeah, I've written books about 2 of my grandkids. That's amazing. It's very cool. So there is another question, but there are a couple of points just on the ratings. So Tim says, I trust him, he's a good source. That his show's ratings for less than 40 ratings for some books. So that's fine. It's less than 100. That's good to know.
That is good to know. Less than 100 for Goodreads. Good. Thank you.
And Trinity said that her mum writes children's books, and ever since she's been more intentional about reviewing the books that is read to her kids. That is dope, but you know, Trinity's awesome, so that helps. And Gina, thank you for the question. Who inspires you, Alice?
Who inspires me? That's a hard question. Lots of people inspire me. I mean, some of certainly great, writers inspire me. Some of my favorite writers, Alice Walker, Barbara Kingsolver, lots of women. I love mystery writers, Jonathan Kellerman. Who inspires me? That's such a hard question.
I know. I should have asked you that in advance, because I think you could probably, if you were pondering it to yourself, you could think of tons of things. But when somebody asks you something on the spot, it's like, that's not how my brain works. I think the way that the human memory works is it's not like a filing cabinet. You can't just go, oh yeah, I'm going to find that thing. It's a drawer full of spaghetti.
People who are kind to each other, people who take care of other people, I find that those people to be inspirational. People who come out, when I worked in the shelter, people who come through challenging times and are able to do that with their, I mean, I don't mean to make it sound like if you don't come through challenging times. I just mean people who keep their humanity. I find that very inspirational. So
yeah, I think resilience is something that most humans have to develop over time, and seeing people in a difficult situation power through it and try their best to come out the other end, even if it's not in the whole as a whole anymore, that is incredibly inspiring. It doesn't diminish the fact that some people don't have to go through those struggles, but you have to recognize that those things are inspirational to you. It's a tough question though.
I remember
excuse me,
this, I will have this picture in my head forever of this young woman, and she had 3 small children, probably 4, 3, 2, I mean really close together, and she had them all dressed and they're leaving the shelter. They're going to catch the bus so that she can take them to daycare and go to work. And I don't know, that I will always have that picture in my head. And it was just matter of fact. It was just like, okay, this is what we're going to do now to get on with our lives. And I was always very impressed with that, because I didn't ever have to do anything that seemed that hard.
Yeah, it's interesting when things are put into perspective, especially if you have moments in your life where you think, oh, this is incredibly difficult. and then you see excuse me, and then you see somebody that is going through unimaginable torture, or like emotional turmoil, and they're still getting on with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It really, really makes you think, like, oh man, I was whining about absolutely nothing. But no, it's good. It's good to have those moments. But I'm glad that you find inspiration, people's strength, and ability to continue.
And kindness.
Yeah.
I know I said that, but I just really feel like kindness is such a rare commodity these days, or a needed commodity. Probably not rare. People are nicer to each other than we
Yeah.
realize.
I think it feels rare because I don't know about you, but I spend an awful lot of time on social media. I don't want to. It's just part of the parcel. You have to be online to be seen and blah blah blah. And at the moment, it's not an encouraging place to be. It's not a place where we celebrate each other. It's not a place where people give each other the benefit of the doubt, and everything you say all of a sudden has negative connotations, whether you meant it or not, which is very unlike real life.
Yeah.
People are more forgiving in real life. I don't know what it is. It's this weird, like, aggression switch that people have when they're looking at their angry screens. And yeah, I think things like having Trapped in a Tablet read to you as a child, or if you read it as a child and you think, Matt, maybe I will be more considerate of people's feelings, is incredibly important. And I think even if you're writing books that are directed at adults, there's nothing wrong with showing kindness. Yeah, it's definitely needed.
Yeah.
Just like reviews. Reviews and kindness are two
Reviews
things
and kindness.
lacking in the indie space, and we need more of it. Just a quick note on social media. So is it something that you use very much to do marketing, or is it something you try and actively avoid, which I wish I could do?
I like met most authors, or many authors, I think marketing is a challenge, because we tend to be much more introverted, I think. And then I feel like I'm begging my friends all the time. Could you come to my book launch, please? I'm afraid nobody's going to show up. But I do. So I'm mostly for marketing. I mean, I'm on Instagram. I have a personal Facebook page and a author page, and I'm on Blue Sky. And those are the only ones that I'm on. And I try to, yeah, social media can be really hard.
Yeah, no kidding.
You can see the worst coming out. So I try to keep it pretty focused on, I mean, I like the feeling of community that you can get from social media, supporting each other and seeing that we're not alone necessarily, but I try not to, like, just go down the rabbit hole too much, because it's not good for mental health.
You don't want to get trapped in your tablet, do you?
Oh, that was good.
Bubbling up inside me, and I thought, I've got to say it. I don't care how stupid it sounds.
Oh, I don't want to get trapped in the tablet. So that's what I put stuff out on social media when I'm like, I pushed this really hard because I really appreciated, being on it, and I was hoping that there would be some, you'd get some traction on it, or that we would. So, and so I put stuff out there, but I'm not a person, and I think about this from time to time. But I'm not a person who writes on social media like a lot, trying to garner followers, or it just doesn't work for me.
And that's perfectly okay. I think it's one of those things where if you can get away with not using it, I think that's probably much better for you. Much, much better.
But I appreciate, I mean, some people do a really nice job. I know people that write, people authors that I know that are with small publishers that
Mm.
are, and they write, like a weekly blog, and it's really very interesting.
Mm.
Um, and it's fun. And I think about, gosh, if I could do that, could I? But I can't. I can't. I can't write a weekly blog. I can't.
Yeah.
I think nobody wants to hear that. So yeah.
That's hilarious. I try and keep up with a weekly newsletter, and I've already stopped doing it. I did it for like 2 or 3 months, and then I stopped, and I was like, "That's nice. I don't have to do that anymore." And I thought, no, I have to tell people about the podcast or whatever. And then I stopped again. But I have news, but trying to remember, it's like being asked what your inspiration is on the spot. I don't remember what I did. I need to start writing it down. But the idea of doing a weekly blog is horrendous. I hate keeping a schedule. I don't want to do that. But I admire people that can.
I do too, and I'm not a fast writer, and then everything I write, well, needs revision, and it needs. I just don't feel comfortable writing something quickly and then getting it out there. And people do it, and they do a great job, but that's not. I guess that's just not how I write.
Is that because you are mulling over the story as you're going along, or is it because you don't feel pressure to get it finished?
I think because I'm mulling it over. I think, and yeah, that I'm not a fast writer. You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think both.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't just flow. Words don't just flow. I have to make myself get them down and then go back and revise them. And I do better if I have some pressure. So maybe if someone was making me write a blog every week, I could do it. But if somebody wants to pay me to do that, then I would do it.
I could pressure you for about 3 weeks and then I'd forget. So if you want 3 weeks worth of blog entries, I'm your girl. I can email you, where is it? And then after a while, you'll say, I haven't finished. I'll say, don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's right.
So I don't mind letting myself down. We've been over this.
It's all okay.
It'd be terrible doing stuff like that. We do have one last question. I hope I haven't missed anything. If I have missed your questions, then please do copy and paste them back into the chat because I can't multitask. So Chris said, if you had to choose a book to live in, which would it be? And do you have it? We'll do that as the first question. Stop, and then we'll ask the second one because there's 2 very different questions.
I know I'm going to think of 1,000 better answers as soon as we're done. But I want to live in Breakfast at Tiffany's. I want to be Holly Golightly and live in New York City and be young and beautiful and charming. And it's been a long time since I've read Breakfast at Tiffany's. So, but I just always picture Audrey Hepburn, and I just want to be. And I love New York City. I think it's so romantic, But I would only want to live there if I were really, really rich. I mean, because it's expensive and it's anyway.
Yes.
So that's what I want to. I think that's where I want to be. I want to be Holly Golightly living in New York City.
It didn't take you long to think of that.
I don't know why.
Impressive. You were like, that's where I want to live.
I know I'll come up with better ones after that.
It'll be just as you're falling asleep tonight, I'm sure. The other question that Chris has asked, do you have a character that you've written that you most relate to?
So, I think in my second novel, the young woman in there I relate to most. She spends the whole book smoking and drinking and eating big chunks of red meat. And I mean, my joke is always that because I had to give this up. So, well, I still have some wine, but well, and anyway, but she smokes for me for sure because I had to give it up. So I do relate to that a lot. Yes.
Cool. Did you write that character because you were mourning the loss of cigarettes and red meat and booze?
Well, it just seemed that it just seemed like a fit for that character, and yes, and it reminded me of what it reminded me of the days when I smoked constantly.
Back in the day when it was cool.
Yeah. And it was hard to give up, really, really hard.
It is hard. It's hard to give up anything that's enjoyable in life, I swear.
It is.
So I haven't got any other questions, and I can't see any other questions in the chat. So before I do the sign off, is there anything that you want to share that I haven't had the opportunity to ask you about yet?
I don't think so. I know I wanted to tell you about. I told you about my upcoming books. And, I'm working on a mystery now. Hopefully someday that will be published too. And nope, I feel like we've covered it all. I really appreciate it, and it's been very fun talking to you. And I put this on my calendar so I can watch it every week.
Oh, thank you so much. It is at slightly different times. I think next week is at 10 a.m. CST. So it'll be slightly different. I made it so that people could book in their own time zones as much as I possibly could, because I interview people from all over the world. But this has been so much fun. I told you we would talk for over an hour, and it has been over an hour. It just flies by. But yeah, I really appreciate your time, and thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate everyone that's turned out today. It's been double digits the whole time, so that's been really nice to see, and thank you so much for sharing it and for everyone being involved and asking questions. It always makes it more interesting when I don't have to ask the questions because I'm not very good at it.
I appreciate it too very much that people came and asked questions and stumped me more than once. So
it happens, especially when you don't have preparations for it, but you did great. You hit it in your stride. But yeah, so I will pop I'm going to do this now so I don't forget, because I forgot last time because I was so excited. I'm going to put 2 links in the chat. So one is for Alice's website, and that was the QR code that was on the screen and is right now. And also the one for Alice's author feature. I don't know why I put it twice, but there we go, on Idiosyncrasy. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you on the chat next week. Bookslings, farewell.
See you then. Thanks.